And so the last question is how we can support the cybersecurity incident of the client. So who would be the first or the provide this suggestion?
I'll start.
Okay, thank you.
Many of the clients that I think are faced with cybersecurity incidents in Japan are our clients which have global operations. And so first and foremost, I would urge that a global corporation, understand that their risk is global and that they have to find a way to analyze their posture in terms of security and data and risk, not just from a Japanese perspective, but from the perspective of all the countries in the globe in which it operates. So I think that's where one has to start. I think one needs to think globally, not locally, when dealing with international business issues that may be implicated by cyber.
Let me add to that. One of the things that Nick and I used to get asked this a lot when we first started practicing is, why are lawyers involved in this? Isn't this an IT issue? And it's really not. This issue, I think companies are now seeing this more sophisticated, but this is an issue that can impact companies from, we talked about a legal risk, regulatory risk. Their very existence of a company, can be in the balance when one of these attacks occurs. So this is something where lawyers can very much help. This is a lot of times is really crisis management. When a data security incident occurs, the law firm isn't the one-stop shop. I mean, we will be there to help, but we may also need to bring in various experts from various disciplines to help a client through an attack. We do these so often. We know different people. We can get people on the phone at weekends, at nights, during holidays, whenever it is needed. And that's oftentimes when these attacks occur, are during the worst possible times. And that's when we're on call to help our clients and get the people needed involved to help them through the attack.
Indeed, scheduled to occur on a 4th of July holiday weekend, or when the board of directors is about to meet for a corporation over a weekend and the attack occurs that Thursday or Friday right before the meeting. So very targeted, designed to have maximal disruption and upset to the corporation that they're attacking.
And maybe two differentiators for Baker McKenzie in particular in this space, I would say. One is consistency. We're a global law firm. I'm sitting here in Tokyo right now. I came from the United States. We interface with our colleagues all across the world. And so you want, as a client, to have a consistent message across all of these regulators and understand how some guidance or some action you might take in one jurisdiction could affect another. Just a real quick example, we're working on a multinational cybersecurity incident that involved individuals residing in the United States and also individuals residing in France. And in the United States, we were going to interface with United States law enforcement in order to get their help. And we were talking with our French colleagues who said, well, if you interface with United States law enforcement, French authorities may not like that activity because of the interplay between the United States government surveillance and other issues, or that you may be treating United States individuals differently than you'd be treating individuals in France. And having one global law firm with colleagues that all work together, we're able to identify those issues and come up with a consistent strategy that's going to work across jurisdictions. The second thing is that we have one point of contact for the client. So the client doesn't have to manage folks sitting in France or sitting in Japan or sitting in the United States or Brazil or what have you. The client talks to one person at Baker McKenzie, and that person in the background is able to find all of these resources to bring together to get that consistent message, and the client doesn't have to go through the headache of working with multiple law firms.
One final trend that I would talk about that we certainly see in the United States and is seen globally are attacks by both criminals and state actors against critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure are those companies and organizations that make our cities and countries run: power, water, light, finance, telecommunications, and the government agencies. And the critical infrastructure sectors, at least in our experience, are being attacked more frequently all across the globe. But in order to protect yourself as a member of critical infrastructure, you may have a very solid defense structure for your siloed company. But without knowing what's happening in terms of risks and events that may cause risk to your company outside of your silo, you're not fully opening your horizon of risk viewpoint to what is actually out there. The advantage of public-private partnerships, where governments are working with the critical infrastructure partners enable cities and the corporations that make up the backbone of those cities to share intelligence broadly and to prepare more effectively to both prevent an attack and respond to one. A bank may have its own siloed defenses for its financial structure, but if the power grid goes out, an attack on the power grid, or the traffic signals go out, or the subways go out in the city, it's going to impact that financial institution indirectly because it's an attack on another sector, but ultimately directly because it will impact the employees and the operations of the company itself. So one has to have, I think, a broader range, a broader lens as it looks at your risk profile.
Thank you very much. So I just have one short question. So how different the cybersecurity experts are different from the existing lawyers model? So could you explain that shortly?
Yeah,
What is that?
I can jump in. So one of the things we do as cybersecurity lawyers, a lot of times it's just an understanding of the technology that really helps. So it's almost like sometimes the people who do the information security or information technology, it's almost like they speak a different language than the people who are executives in the company or in the legal department. And oftentimes we find ourselves almost like translating between the two so that they understand risk. So the people oftentimes who understand information security may have a difficult time explaining and translating the information security risk into business risk for executives. And that's a role we can help with, and also translating that risk into legal risk. So we find ourselves almost in a role of, understanding business, understanding legal, and understanding information security to be able to bring it all together to help our clients.
When I was a district attorney in Manhattan for 12 years, I was working in concert to protect the security of New York City from cyber attack. And I think the advantage of lawyers like Nick and Stephen and those that I relied upon when I was district attorney is to have counsel who can come in and actually talk to the technical people within your organization, whether it was our office or the city offices, and kind of get to the heart of the issues that need to be decided quickly because of their technical expertise. It is a real advantage to have both the legal and technical background in preparing for and dealing with attacks. And I think that's an added value that corporations who are looking for guidance should consider.
Yeah, having the technology, as you just said, having the technology background enables us to direct a forensics provider who's investigating what occurred to not have them go down paths that legally we don't need them to go down. And so from a speed perspective, we can help them get to the answer more quickly and with less cost for our clients. And I think that's a major differentiator.
And finally, if it wasn't raised, and if it was, I apologize, lawyers in America operate with the attorney-client privilege. And it's important as you're framing your early thinking about how to respond to a cyber incident, all the way through all the things that may happen if one happens. Preventative all the way through government reporting, government investigations, and potential litigation. Lawyers working in collaboration with internal experts from the corporation from inception are able to help the corporation move through these various risk stages at the same time as gathering information that's necessary to protect the corporation, but protecting it by the attorney-client privilege. This actually is an important consideration when looking at how are you as an executive with a corporation going to maximally protect your corporation as it responds to these very difficult circumstances.
All right, thank you very much. I believe these talks will be very informative and helpful for the Japanese clients.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for moderating. Thank you.
本日はご清聴ありがとうございました。また機会がございましたらご視聴いただければと思います。よろしくお願いいたします。